Good evening and thanks for joining us for Thursday's news. The Registrar of Political Parties, Dr. Alphonse Gelu, is not confident the revised organic law will be passed in Parliament. Successive governments have overlooked the revised law and it has been in waiting for 14 years. The legislation, once passed, will enable the registry to monitor and penalise parties that are not living up to expected duties, an important contributor to good governance.
So it's a bit of a pity. That's the reason why sometimes we just want to put it in a...
The Registrar of Political Parties is concerned about the lack of commitment by successive governments to have the revised law passed.
Okay, I'm not that confident in terms of this because, you know, if Parliament have dealt with this the revised organic law in April this year, I think I would have some confidence that by the end of this year it would have been passed. But I've been informed that I think Parliament will be meeting 5 times before the issue of writs, and that does not really give me a good position.
It's been 14 years since the law was retouched after the court ordered it to be illegal. The Organic Law on the Integrity of Political Parties and Candidates, or OLIPEC, is an important legislation which governs the work of the registry and political parties.
Right now, we don't have any penalties against political parties because the way that the current organic law is framed, it does not require political parties as a mandatory case for them to report to the registry. But in the revised organic law, as I've just explained before the tea break, under the revised organic law, we are now putting in provisions that would now require political parties to report to us.
The last tried for the revised OLIPEC was in 2017 when it went as far as the notice paper of the last sitting before election.
It will be a big setback for me personally and as well as the registrar of political parties, that it will be a really big setback if the revised OLIPEC is not passed in this term of Parliament.
OLIPEC is important to the democratic election process at the end of the day, as governments are formed by political parties that have the highest numbers.
You know, why the reaction like this? Why is the attitude like this by our leaders? So I only wish and I do call upon the government and also our leaders to ensure that, you know, they have to debate this law and get it passed through Parliament.
A key pillar of good governance still waits, catching dust in Parliament, waiting to be brought into the chambers for reading and debate. Bradley Valenaki, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape announced plans for Parliament to discuss and introduce reserved seats for women in next year's election. He was speaking today at the Learning and Development Workshop for Political Parties in Port Moresby.
10 months left before the next general elections, and the discussions for reserved seats for women in Parliament is once again on the table. The Prime Minister told the political party executives.
We are recommending 5 women's seats and a specialized women's seats, but it's subject for consultations like this. You will have to advise us on which is the fairest way.
Mr. Marape highlights the importance of fair and equal representation on the floor of Parliament. The important discussion to come when Parliament next sits.
We are 46 years as a nation now, and so if some things are not working, then we must change also. And I ask you all to be open-minded about this sort of thing, pass your recommendations in this sort of session.
Before the 10th Parliament, there were 3 women present in Parliament, all winning their seats through the same ballot contested by the male folk. This even saw at least 2 whole ministerial portfolios in the ruling government. That prospect shelved the discussions on reserved seats under the table. 4 years on and with no women in sight in the honoured house, the discussions arise once more. Bradley Valenaki, National EMTV News.
The National Housing Corporation, the custodians of state housing property, has failed the people in its duty to provide affordable housing over the years. The NHC has been embroiled in controversial sale of properties, both legal and illegal, over the years. As a result, the government has plans to audit the state-owned entity and deliver housing for citizens nationwide. That's from the new Managing Director, Henry Mokono, when taking office this morning. He He replaces Elizabeth Bowada, who resigned from office after 2 years. The handover takeover was witnessed by Housing Minister Justin Tachenko.
Been in the corporation since 2006, Elizabeth Bowada was elevated to the position of acting managing director in 2018. Bowada says it was not easy for her as the first female to be in such position to work in a male-dominated office. Despite the challenges, Bowada said she managed to achieve a lot while serving as the acting MD.
But despite all that happened, we still pushed on and we still achieved a lot of milestones for NHC. And I'm proud to say, as a female, I've achieved quite a fair bit of milestones in NHC.
Elizabeth Bowada was asked on 3 occasions to be the acting managing director for the National Housing Corporation, but she refused. However, on the 4th occasion, she was appointed as the acting managing director without her knowledge. She says she resigned as a result of personal vendetta.
I met a lot of challenges, and it was evident in personal vendettas in the papers and in the social media, and also this agenda of having been arrested and all that.
For the newly appointed managing director for NHC, Henry Mokono says his task is to spearhead the office in the right direction. Mokono, the former MD for Edaranu, now Water PNG, says NHC needs a good cleanup starting from the bottom up.
I want accountability to be in this place. So every manager, every divisional head, every general manager, whatever roles that they play in this organization must be done properly, within law, within process. There shouldn't be any shortcuts. This entity is a very good entity that was set up by our visionary leaders of the past. But along and in the process, it has come to be one of the most entity that is seen to be full of bad management.
Podivai National EMTV News.
Life behind bars may seem an end to one's freedom, but not for 19 female detainees at Bihute Correctional Institute who opened their passbook accounts with the Women's Microbank. All these came about with the assistance of the Prime Minister's wife, Rachel Marape. As the daughter of a CS officer, she has been engaging with female detainees to help rehabilitate them for life after prison. Mrs. Marape also presented a 10,000 kina check on behalf of the Livestock Development Corporation for the detainees' poultry project. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll have more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's not every day children get to visit a television company's office to learn about their functions. On Sunday, adventurers from the Seventh-day Adventist Church visited EMTV's lay office. They were children ages 3 to 12. While EMTV's lay office has student attachments from tertiary institutions, this was the first time a group of children visited the office. It was part of their field excursion, allowing them a look into a news agency. They asked questions about the equipment used, how process of filming and editing, and also how stories are sent to Port Moresby and played on the news. They were shown how cameras are used, interviews are conducted and edited for news. Visiting EMTV was just one of many other activities that the adventurers had taken on to expose them to different experiences. The clan validation process currently underway at Porgera is expected to be completed by the end of the week. It will be conducted by the government to ensure landowner associations are established before the proposed development forum is held. Mining Minister Johnson Tuke says the development forum will be conducted when the landowners associations are established.
Speaking to the media this afternoon, Mining Minister Johnson Tuke gave an update on the clan validation process currently underway in Porgera. He says the clan validation process is expected to be completed by the end of the week. The clan validation process is conducted by the government, led by the Mineral Resources Authority. So far, over 21 clan agents have been identified.
Through our government agency, MRA, we have so far identified 21 or so agents up until now, and on the validation of 24 clan agents. And by Thursday this week, we should finally identify the SML clan agents.
According to the minister, all surrounding agreements under the first special mining list have expired. Under the new special mining list, the clan agents must be revalidated, and identifying these clan agents is an important step towards establishing the Landowners Association, and this association will be part of the Mining Development Forum.
So that is what we are familiar. So we are conducting this particular exercise to establish the association, and that can then lead to development forum and other engagements.
The mining secretary further stressed on the importance of clan validation process. He says the government only recognize and deal with landowner associations while conducting mining businesses in the country and not ILGs.
It's better dealing with a smaller group of people than having a big group of people to deal with. So that's why, and the correct landowners. So that's what we're doing through the validation process. We identify the correct people, we get them to form the main association that we deal with, and then we start dealing with them.
The mining minister further gave his assurance that all landowner issues will be addressed. He says the government is determined that all landowners benefit from the mine.
But this government is very determined to address all these surrounding easement and LMP landowners. So, and to bring them into a table where all of us will have the uniformity of having access to royalty and equity.
The minister further thanked all stakeholders who are supporting the process to ensure the mine commence operation by September. Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
Port Moresby police have captured and referred a man to health authorities to confirm the state of his mind after an incident this morning. Acting NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Nelson Chaney said the suspect stabbed several people before fatally killing a man. This tragic incident occurred under the Kumul flyover in Port Moresby. Meanwhile, Port Moresby residents have been advised to take precaution when travelling between Erima, Gordons and the Jacksons Airport. A week of joint exercise between the U.S. Army and the PNGDF's Engineering Battalion ended today in Lae. Exercise Tamiok Strike was aimed at enhancing the soldiers' abilities to work together through training and cultural exchange. PNGDF's Engineering Battalion's Commanding Officer, Lieutenant Colonel John Wani, said this exercise has strengthened and fostered new relations between soldiers from PNGDF and the U.S. Army, as well as enhancing their skills. Another team of U.S. soldiers were also engaged with PNGDF soldiers at the Goldie Barracks in Port Moresby under Exercise Tamiok Strike 2021.
These are soldiers from the U.S. Army's Pacific Command's 95th Engineer Company, along with soldiers from the PNGDF's Engineer Battalion in Lae. For the past week, they've been participating in Exercise Tamiok Strike 2021, allowing these soldiers an opportunity to train together. This morning, they ended the exercise.
We fostered a very good relationship with them already, so it's like the first of it start, and then we will continue into the future.
We want to have a committed relationship and a enduring relationship as well here in Papua New Guinea throughout the Pacific Theater as well. So,
Exercise Tamiok Strike 2021 is aimed at enhancing soldiers' abilities to work together through training and cultural exchange. The exercises were based on urban operations, vehicle and personnel search techniques and medical training, amongst other areas. The PNGDF's Engineer Battalion's commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel John Wani, said the training is important for upcoming national events like the general elections.
Especially, we're also stepping up for next year elections. That's good for vehicle searches, people tracking, and all this kind of thing that we do to run the safe and free elections next year.
For these soldiers, both from the U.S. Army and the PNGDF, it has been a learning experience.
Get to experience and talk to and interact with your defense force. It's been amazing.
We're very grateful that we've learned a lot from our counterparts. The exercise was a very successful one.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
The new look Bulolo United Church building in Morbe Province was opened by Deputy Prime Minister and Bulolo MP Sam Basil recently. Situated on PNG Forest Products premises, the building cost over 300,000 kina to construct using the famous clinky pine products. The original church was built in a makeshift nature by congregation members in the 1980s along with a pastor's house. A second one, which was a more permanent structure, was built eventually, and now the third one has been completed and opened. Various United Church pastors have served at the congregation over the years, including Reverend Puri Lama from Gavone Village in Abao District, Central Province, who passed on while serving in Bulolo in 2020. Hundreds of people were part of the celebrations for the new church, including Bulolo MP Sam Basil, who promised greater support for churches in Bulolo District and Morbe Province moving forward. And now looking at the NASFund market report, the kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 US in the interbank market this morning. At Bank South Pacific, your kina will buy $0.2775 US, $0.3716 Australian dollars, $0.3901 New Zealand dollars, and 29.76 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed higher, cocoa and copper closed lower. Palm oil and copper closed lower, crude oil is trading lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Southern Conference leaders Hekari United will provide the toughest test yet for newcomers Southern Youth FC in this Saturday's National Soccer League match in Port Moresby. Third-placed Southern Youth will have their hands full for the entire 90 minutes.
The fixtures for Round 3 of the National Soccer League Southern Conference will see an exciting matchup when Hekari United take on New Kids on the Block, Southern Youth FC. Going into this weekend's matches underdogs, Southern Youth FC will be out to prove that they are not here just to make up the numbers. The newcomers will be determined to match Hekari in all departments, testing themselves against some of the country's established players. Hekari's captain David Muta, Michael Foster, Daniel Joe, Koriak Upaiga, and Kolu brothers Kepu and Ati will certainly cause problems for the young guns in the Southern Youth FC. Huxley Lovai, Chukai Sports.
The DWU Easy Cruisers will be hosting a two-day Rugby Sevens tournament at the DW Rugby Oval in Medang. 14 teams are confirmed to take part in the Easy Cruisers Mayors Sevens tournament. The competition is scheduled for this weekend from the 7th to the 8th of August. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, most sports in the province, including the inaugural Kalibobo Lighthouse Sevens, have been on halt. This tournament is purposely to revive the Code of Rugby Union in Medang Urban and to ignite the interest of Rugby Sevens. With great interest shown by Medang Youth, the Medang Urban local level government through the town mayor Ishmael Yama has stepped in to assist with the prize money. Winner of the tournament will take home 1,000 kina, while second place is expected to receive 500 kina and third place will settle for 200 kina. And that ends Chukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Partly cloudy with chances of light showers and drizzles in Port Moresby. Mostly fine and windy in Daru. Cloudy with a few showers in Kerema. And a fine although cloudy in Alota. And cloudy with a few showers in Popondetta. In the Mamase region, a few showers with possible thunderstorms in Lae. Partly cloudy with a few showers in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy with a few showers in Lorengau. A few showers with possible thunderstorms in Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, partly cloudy with some showers right across the region in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kondiawa, Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Thursday, the 5th of August, 2021. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.